Good evening. It is July 14th, 9 o'clock at night. What's the temperature where you are? And what do you hear when you walk outside your door? The temperature where I am right now is 62 degrees, 45% humidity. According to my weather app, if you're in El Paso, right now you're suffering at 92 degrees. At night, 9 o'clock. Do you remember the days when the sun went down, even in the summer in El Paso, you immediately felt cooler air? Now, this is not going to show the stars. Unfortunately, this does not show stars, but I am looking up at stars. I'm 9,000 feet high in Cloudcroft, New Mexico, a tiny little village, and I'm several miles outside of it in the Lincoln National Forest of the Sacramento Mountains. This is the United States. New Mexico is between Texas and Arizona. The sky is so clear that on some nights you can see the satellites. Sometimes you can see the space station go by. In the city, I couldn't really tell Mars, but out here, you can see that it's a red planet. I mean, the star looks, it's not a star, of course, it's a planet, but it looks red. The cool air feels so good. I hear crickets. They're not doing it now, but a few minutes ago, some cattle that are way off. I know they're about 3/4 of a mile away because I saw them earlier. And I could hear one particular cow, probably a mother cow, bawling for its baby to get over here or whatever. You could just barely hear it in the distance, but that's how quiet it is here. I want my fellow Texans to get out of that hellhole. And if you're not from Texas, I would love for anyone to, if you're living in a place that's hot, that doesn't cool off at night, that is hot, that is humid. One really wonderful thing about the Sacramento Mountains, because it's surrounded by the desert, down here in the southwestern part of the United States, people think the Southwest, they think it's all desert. But out here, you have, we don't really, okay, the Rio Grande, yes, there's kind of an oasis at the Rio Grande, sure. But the real oases in the desert are the mountains. And the higher up you go, the cooler you are, the more wonderful it is. This is an oasis in the desert. And what's so nice, you see, I'm a desert rat. I love the desert. I grew up in the desert. I love it. But I don't love living in it anymore because I don't like a lot of heat, even if it's a dry heat. And of course, the air pollution that's down in these large cities, it killed my mother, and I'm certainly not going to be breathing it in. Not when I don't have to. Oh, I wish you could see the stars. This just, I can tell it's not recording. It's not recording the stars. But there are other places to live, and I urge anyone who is eager to get out of heat and humidity and misery and barking dogs and motorcycle sounds or car sounds, the sounds of the city. Well, this is what the sounds are like here. I wish I could show you the stars. This is the cell phone camera, and it's just not going to show it. It's so quiet you can hear a pin drop. There's a moth flying around. Oh, went out of sight. The other thing I like, when you're way up high like this, it's as if you're up high on some sort of cloud. You know, you're up in heaven on earth, while all the chaos of the world is going on several thousand feet below you. It just feels as if you've escaped it. Oh my goodness. Well, I'm not going to waste my time trying to show you. I mean, this just doesn't pick up the stars. There's something little tiny and very red up in the sky there, in the night sky. And then not too far away from it is a white light. I mean, these are stars, planets, something. Did you hear that? I'll have to see if this recorded it. I don't know what that is, but that... You see, that kind of sounds like a bird that is trying to imitate a coyote. I don't think that is a coyote. I think that's a bird, a night bird trying to imitate a coyote. But I could be wrong. It doesn't quite sound like an owl. Usually the owls don't have quite the coyote clip to them. Maybe it just is imitating what it's heard. Let's listen. Ooh, I hear something behind me. What are you? Don't you mess with Sissy, wherever you are. Actually, you know what I think it is? A June bug. June bug that hit a tarp. I'm going to call back to that. Woo, woo, woo! Oh, goodness, I seem to have quiet. Let's see what it does. What are you? Are you a coyote or a bird? Could it even be? Could that be a fox? I don't know. I don't know what that is. You're not a fox, are you? It's not far. It's 1 to 2 lanes down. 1 to 2 lanes down. I hope the camera's picking it up. Oh, the night sky is just gorgeous. Oh, I see an airplane going by. It's a small, like one of those, like it. That's a small, like what people fly. Not commercial. It's some other kind of airplane, I think. Camera might be picking up its engine noise now. Well, I'll upload this and then go to bed. I'm very much aware of how quickly life goes by and how chaotic the world can seem, especially if you're watching the news and the terrible things that have been going on in the news. You know what's so wonderful is you can just shut off the idiot box. We had a rule. When Roy was alive, we had a rule. When we came to the cabin, when it was just the cabin, I didn't live here all the time. Roy, my late husband, he's passed. But we had a rule. As soon as we got here, we took off our watches. Roy made it a ritual, like he's taking off his watch, putting it away. Not going to look at the time. We took off our watches. We did not have a TV. When we came to the cabin, it was to escape. And the world could blow up and you would not know it. And you can still live that way. Even, I don't have to turn on the TV. I have a TV now, of course. But you turn off the TV and you walk outside in the evening and there's no city noise. There's no traffic noise. There's no heat and humidity. It's just marvelous. You're right in the middle of nature with, noises coming out of the forest. You don't know what they are. And you look up and you see stars that you can never see when you're in the city because of the city lights, but there are no city lights here. And it's really how we should be living. You feel the soil underneath you, the forest. I don't know if that's going to show much of the forest floor here in the dark. You don't walk on cement or asphalt. These are county-maintained roads, and they're gravel. You've gone back in time. You're living primitively. Compared to how you live in the city, this is primitive. And it is how I think we are meant to live. We're not meant to have it easy. I think it actually doesn't do anybody any harm to have to do things like split wood. If you want heat, just split your wood. You can't just flip switches. You have to actually do things. And to live a little bit dangerously. Ask a person who's always been rural. They don't realize rural life is dangerous, but you know it is. Let's say I were to suddenly feel like I'm about to have a heart attack. So I go in and call 911. Well, you know, an ambulance is, to get to here is 45 minutes away. Oh, I just saw a falling star. I just saw a shooting star. I just made a wish. Well, on that note, good evening. And I hope you, whoever's listening to this, who's thinking, gee, you know, I don't like where I live. I'm getting tired of this. There is heaven on earth. Up here. If the mountains aren't your thing, if you prefer the beach, go there. Just check to make sure it's doesn't have any air pollution. Remember, as far as the city, you can always go visit one. You don't have to live there. Bye-bye from outside of Cloudcroft, New Mexico.